Lesson 79, Part 11, we continue to look at the funky movements in the swings of the great players. As Alex Hay said to me, if a swing movement is funky but effective, it's a characteristic. We only call it a fault if it's not working. So if you're a teaching pro and you've got a funky swing that works, leave well alone, only change it when it breaks down. So two guys before Bubba Watson, who's probably the funkiest player in swing I've ever seen, with Jim Furyk, and before him, Eamohn Darcy. Jim was the son of a teaching pro, and Jim Furyk is capable of swinging the club absolutely perfectly orthodox, but it's not the swing that he trusts. The swing that Jim uses, slightly soft posture, chin a little bit low, he goes up above the plane, the elbow spreads, he changes direction, and he clears his hips so well that the right hip is almost between the forearms at impact. It's quite remarkable, and a high, accurate flourish. He's been a money-making machine for 20 plus years on the PGA Tour. And then you have Ireland's Eamohn Darcy. Now you know that I designed the Explanar swing trainer, the hoop, and Eamohn walked up to me on the practice ground at Woburn on the seniors tournament and said, I'd like an Explanar. I said, you can't have one. He says, well, I'll endorse it for you. I said, you still can't have one. He said, look, he said, I'll endorse it for you, I'll use it. I said, you still can't have one. He said, why can't I have one? I said, well, Eamohn, you're the first tournament pro I ever saw hit a ball and anchor, 1973 Chepstow St Pierre Masters. You're a Ryder Cup legend, a Champions Tour legend. The last thing you need is someone making you orthodox and ruining a great career. He goes, do you mean I can't have one then? Correct, Eamohn, you can't have one. So a year later he walks up to me, almost to the minute, and says, I got one, he said, I borrowed it. I love it, he said. He said, for 40 years, he said, my left thumb has been across the shaft, and I've had a chunky fade. He said, that machine, he said, has actually got my thumb parallel. I now hit a draw with no divot. Now, if you knew Eamon's swing before, it was so extreme that the shaft was in front of his forehead at the top. Can you believe it? He's not here, he's here. And yet he could make it work. And he was a great player on the European Tour and a Ryder Cup team member as well. So when you've got flair and talent and commitment, you can make even the funkiest swing work. I didn't take the risk of letting him have an explainer. He took it on himself. I didn't think it would work for him. The good thing is he went away, played around with it, and he still swung it like Eamohn. That was the interesting thing. It didn't look like a perfect swing. He still had the club in front of him, but the club had obliged him to hinge his wrist correctly and to get his left thumb in line. As you know, I've always said to you, the most important thing I know about the golf swing is the left thumb. That's the cornerstone of everything. If the left thumb is parallel, right to centre, happy days. But Eamohn was here, and that was very much part of his position at the top of the swing, and then the chunky fade as a compensation. When the thumb goes into line, although the swing was funky, he was hinging much better here rather than bowed. Let me just show you that. So the old Eamohn was up here with the thumb diagonal, but the explainer got him into a parallel thumb, and while the swing was still excessive, this was behaving much better. So he went, in his own words, from chunky fade to sweet draw. So I might do myself an injury, but I'll try and demonstrate Eamohn Darcy's swing to you. He'd shuffle, he'd sit back on his heels, have a look where the club head goes in the backswing. And yet he made it work. So this is classic. We looked at all these different swings. We don't all swing the same. So it's not really important about how we swing it. It's more important what we do with the ball. I believe that if you have good grip and good posture and you improvise the shot, that leads you to your best swing anyway. And what a great example you've got. So how do you make sense of Bubba, Jim Furyk, and all the swings that I've mentioned in this lesson 79? Well, you have to get away from the form of the swing and look at the function. So whoever you are at address, you're preparing for the shot. Whatever your swing shape is in the backswing, you're creating power. And whatever shape your downswing is, you're hitting the shot. Okay? So what's the big mantra from all these coaching? Learn the shot, the swing's for free.